Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for being here today to listen in to the info session for our Pepperdine Consulting Certification. My name is Dr. Asia Ghazi. I am hosting the info session today, and I will introduce you to our three lovely speakers. Faculty in just a few minutes. But before I do that, I wanted to give you all a little bit of information about the center. So for those of you that don't know, it is the Center for Global Partnerships and Learning who is hosting this info session. And the center is a little bit about, we have a myriad of services which range from publication support to certificate programs, access to GSEP's academic journal, and a few other services. Our center also hosts events, info sessions such as these for our certificates that we offer, and workshops on various topics. With that said, let me go ahead and introduce you to Rachel, Ed, and Leslie, the three faculty who are here today and who will be speaking about this program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Asia. It's wonderful to see you as always. I know we've had a good friendship over the years, so it's really great. And thank you everybody for joining us today. This is about the Pepperdine Kairos Consulting Certificate Program. This is in partnership with the Pepperdine Graduate School of Education and Psychology and Kairos Consulting Lab. And I think one thing that you'll find through this program is that this is an opportunity for you to really monetize your brilliance. A lot of people that have gone through this program, we've had 3 very successful cohorts thus far. They're coming back with rave reviews. And we have one of our alumna here with us today to share a little bit about her experience. So we're excited about that. So I'm just going to jump right in and tell you what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to keep this presentation part pretty brief so that you can ask questions, so we can make sure that you have everything you need to prepare for enrollment. We're going to introduce you to our core team, our expert faculty that we bring in. We're going to go over the curriculum, what your commitment will be. Again, we have a guest alumna here. I'm so excited for you to hear her story and her experience. Yes, we're going to talk about cost, and we're going to open up for Q&A. And of course, we are so grateful for your time. It's a wild time to be alive, and we're so grateful that you're spending your valuable time with us. And we hope that we can, through a short certificate program, help you learn how to navigate this world that we live in today, so you can really make money and be your own boss as a consultant or work in a consulting firm. As we mentioned, I'm joined with my incredible colleagues, Dr. Ed Ng. He is a Renaissance man. You are going to love having him as your faculty, but not only faculty, a friend and a mentor. Everybody that goes through this program really gets roped into just a unique network of people that are really diligent and care about the world around us. And Ed is one of those people. Ed is the mayor of La Mirada. He was just reelected, so congratulations, Mr. Mayor. He is also the executive director of the County of Los Angeles, which is pretty rad for all of you, because he helped to incubate a program within the county that helps people get consulting work through the county. So this is something that is a tip of the iceberg should you want to do some contracts with the county. And I believe the state, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong there, Ed. Okay, yes, I'm getting a shake of the head. And I'm going to let Ed talk about himself, but I like to just really share some things that Ed might not fully share because he's a humble man, but he is really a strategy and branding expert. He is the former president of the LA Times. He has a master's of science and engineering. He's also an MBA grad from Pepperdine Grazie Dio. He's a doctor of education graduate from Pepperdine Graduate School of Education and Psychology. He is an award-winning Fortune 300 executive, professor of management with Cal State. And I just think, you are going to really enjoy hearing from him. I'm also joined by my colleague, Leslie Young. She is the founder and principal consultant of an advisory firm called VM Advisory. She's also the founder and director of In-Person Learning. She can share a little bit about herself as well, but I'm just going to say these are pillars of your experience. We are committed to your experience. I am an executive performance coach. I've been working with the business school at Pepperdine for 8 years, and now I'm working at Pepperdine Advancement. I just started in a new role, really excited about that. I'm a higher education consultant, a business development strategist. I'm the founder of Opportune, a unique type of studio that helps people work on their speaking voice so that they can have attuned performance prowess in leadership, speaking, and performance in general. And I'm a doctoral candidate here at Pepperdine GSEP. So I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Dr. Ng, and we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate that. When you were introducing me, I said, God, I want to take a class from this person. So anyways, thank you so much. Can you move on to the next slide? So these are the guest faculty experts, and these are mostly, all of them are actually my friends, personal friends. So to round out the curriculum that Leslie's going to talk about later on, we needed experts in their field. So you're going to learn all about the tax advantages. You're going to learn all about how to set up an LLC to maximize those advantages and also manage the risk. And you're going to learn about how actually Dr. Santor started his own business, how he created his own consulting firm. Then you have Brandon Alexander, who is actually a pretty amazing young man. He worked for some of the world's most valuable companies. He just recently started his own business, and now he's an influencer and doing so well in digital marketing with contracts from Apple, Google, and Amazon. So he's going to share his data analytics experience. Next slide, please. So you're going to love them. They're really, really good.
Thank you, Ed. So just to cover some of the, well, I think it skipped a slide there.
Yeah. So this is my slide. So let me talk about why I started this program. The reason I started this program is because I work for, as Rachel talked about, I work for big companies my whole life, medium size, at least over 1,000 people. That's been my background. And at every point in my career, I hit either a glass ceiling, I get bored. I don't feel like the company gave me enough creative space to do what I want to do. I have a lot of ideas, but because of the bureaucratic inertia, I'm not able to do what I want to do. So I always felt that the reason why I never quit, or I just kind of stuck with the company that I'm working with, is always because I don't have enough money, or I didn't know how to start a business. And most of the time it's because I don't have the financial means to do what I want to do. And also I didn't have the tools to really understand what I wanted to do, to really how to go about starting my own business. So what I found out through my 30 years of working experience, talking to people, mentoring people, is people want autonomy, independence, and freedom. Once they have that, they become more joyful and just happier in general. So I said, okay, what if I can create a program that can help people achieve the autonomy and independence that they're looking for? And then I started the program, the doctorate program, and I said, well, I started the program without really any focus in mind. But halfway through, I said, this is it. This is why I want to do it, is to help people do that. And your Doctor of Education or your PhD program at Pepperdine is a great program, but it's really theory-based. It's heavily focused on theory. And there's a gap that's kind of missing, is the practicality of how to monetize all the skills that you know, that you learn but don't know how to apply. And then the other thing is, I said, what if I start a consulting program? So I started doing research on what's out there, and there were only 2 programs out there, Harvard and at USC, that is reputable, that is backed by a university. But 2 things I found. Number 1 is cost prohibitive, and number 2, it takes way too long. It takes about a year, or at least I think 6 months to a year. I think USC's is 2 years. So I said, who has that kind of time to do that? So I created a program that is different than Harvard and USC, that's affordable, and it's short, and it's backed by a university program. And by the time you're done, you should be able to get started right away. So let's talk about the how you do it. So when I started the program, I couldn't even write a coherent paragraph, but I know that I'm gifted with natural storytelling, number one. And number two, I'm very, very analytical, and my interest is in business. So I combine all three and teach people, simplify business concept, analyze it, simplify it, and be able to tell it in a story format so people can understand it. And I want to be able to help people do that, to find what they're good at, their God-given talents, and be able to marry all of that, those skills together, and be able to start their own consulting business and monetize their strengths. So that's what I have on this slide.
Thank you. So now we're going to highlight what are some of the items that we cover in the certificate curriculum. So first and foremost, we go over the entire consulting process from start to finish, from the time that you are able to complete the program. What is it that you're going to do? How are you going to utilize the skills that you learned during the certificate program, as well as the strategies in order to dive into your own consulting business? Problem-solving models for business, strategy frameworks like we discussed, data analytic frameworks, which Brandon Alexander goes into in full detail, and that class by far is probably one of my favorites. We go over the legal structure, tax benefits, personal branding, which Ed focuses a lot on, as well as consultative sales, and that's Rachel's segment. Very informative segment. It really focuses in on how are you going to create your own walking business, for yourself as a salesperson when you're out there trying to seek business. Real hands-on project. So we do discuss a series of real life case studies during the curriculum, and we match those up with some of the frameworks and some of the problem-solving models so that we can see some of those problems being solved for those companies real time, as well as during the project, you will be assigned an actual client that we will go over, and you will help them actually solve an actual business problem. And so that is also part of one of the biggest items that we go over during the curriculum, and that's why we so heavily focus on all of the items above, so that when you get into the actual real hands-on project, you have all the information, all of the note-taking. You've actually been able to see case studies being solved and ask the questions that you need, so that when you get into the project with the client, you're able to actually use those skill sets and apply them right there and then. And that's what Ed was referring to when it comes to really being able to apply your skill set. We do a one-on-one coaching. So at the very end of the program, once you've completed all of the required classes, you have the ability to actually schedule a one-on-one coaching session with a faculty of your choosing. And that person, is there to help guide you, help answer any questions that you have at the very end of the curriculum. And then finally, part of you completing the curriculum is receiving and obtaining your Evergreen certificate from Pepperdine University, both a physical copy and a digital as well. Next slide, please.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Leslie. And I'm just going to follow up with about the details about your experience. So you've got the commitment and the research and application. With the commitment, there are 4 class meetings. We ask, it goes from 9 to noon, but we always ask that you leave a little buffer if you can to about 12:30, 1 o'clock, in case we run over, in case you have questions. We're here to support that time. For the spring 2022 term, our dates are going to be Saturday, April 9th. We'll skip a week so you can digest some things and have some holiday in there, some spring holidays. And then April 23rd, April 30th, and May 7th. We also have typically offered this course in October as well, 4 Saturdays in October. So in the spring and also in October in the fall. You do want to go ahead and anticipate. I've been in other certificate programs, and I know some other certificate programs, you show up to the course and that's it. With this program, there is some outside work out of class. So you've got your case study work and some research time. It depends on the student, depends on, how much you're really showing up and how much you really want to delegate to yourself, because everybody isn't going to do the whole project. Everybody's going to kind of delegate and take areas that their strengths really well aligned to. And so I would say about 6 to 10 hours for your own team or independent work so that you can really put together a great project and learn from each other. You're going to work in teams. You're going to have this team assignment so that you understand the scope. We're also going to teach you scope creep. So if you've ever done work as a consultant, some people have come into this program with 20 plus years consulting work in America and China. And they've been very successful. So you could be new to consulting or you could be a veteran of consulting. And what we're going to do is we're going to help you learn how to look at a scope of an assignment for a consulting client, but also how to monetize that if they want to do what's called scope creep, add more to your assignment, and how you can really come through with a nice delivery of not only a written report, but a personable, strong presentation so that you're not the only kind of consultant that gets one client every year, but you're the kind of consultant that gets consulting work again and again and again. So you can really launch your brand. And this gives you an opportunity to work with clients that might be outside of your normal customer base. Maybe you focus on coaching one-on-one and you want to really bring this into the corporate space. We're going to challenge you with that. We're going to bring you a unique project that might be new to your expertise, that'll really challenge you in ways, but also give you new tools and skills. And as a recap from what Leslie was sharing, this work is going to give you that real case study experience. We've had clients offer our students jobs, offer our students more consulting work. So even through this program and through this curriculum, you could start to work begets work, start to make more money. And again, we bring in world-class faculty to give you real guidance. You get to do these cases with business clients, getting to know them, getting to understand their needs, and you have our support so that you can really have a deep analysis delivery and give your client what they're looking for. I wanted to also and have Leslie share a little bit about your return on investment here and what you're going to get as a graduate.
Thanks so much, Rach. So yes, you will actually, at the completion of your certificate, receive a LinkedIn Credly badge. So this is something that recently came about in our second, was it the third cohort, Rachel? And it is a pretty neat badge that you get to accredit yourself for this certificate via LinkedIn. Additionally to that, here's a snapshot of what the Pepperdine certificate actually looks like. So you will be able to receive this upon the completion of your Pepperdine Consulting Certificate. As we mentioned prior, this is an evergreen certificate, so it does not have an expiration date.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Leslie. And just to drive this back home a little more, I want to talk about the return on investment with my friend and colleague, Janae Oliver. She is a graduate from our last cohort, the fall October 21 cohort, and talk about a Renaissance woman. This amazing lady is truly just ingrained in our community. You might be surprised at areas you visited or work that you've done that have crossed paths with this amazing lady. She is a community benefit health manager at Kaiser Permanente. She's also an adjunct professor at Charles Drew University. She is the founder and creator of Blacksinated, Educated and Blacksinated. I love it. And she's also the founder and creator of Mindful Beauty. She has a new project that's an incubation, Women Supporting Women. She's a doctoral candidate here at GSEP. She is a lifelong learner, and I celebrate that. She has a master's of public health. She has a master's of public administration, a bachelor of arts in political science, and she landed her first consulting contract less than 5 months out of this course. So without further ado, I'd love to bring Janae Oliver up to the stage and have her share a little bit about her personal experience, and you can ask her questions as well. Thanks so much, Janae.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Dr. Ng and Leslie. It's truly a pleasure to be here. I feel like we're having a little mini reunion. But yeah, I took the course last semester during, while I was finishing up my coursework in the doctoral program. And as you can see, I have a number of interests and a number of initiatives that I've launched over the years just through my community engagement work, the work that I do for a nonprofit hospital. And I realized at some point, like, I've got to figure out, what it is that I'm really good at. What is this you'll hear Dr. Ng say it all the time. What is this niche that I have? What is working for me? And I really learned from day one, we kind of hit the ground running with this program. There was not, normally you take classes and you kind of can get in the groove and, kind of wait. It's like, no, day one, you're in, you're working with a consultant, or you're working with a company, and that has been identified for you. Because in the real life, you get a client, they don't have time to wait for you. So this really kind of simulates that experience for you. I have worked on a number of community-based projects, and I really just appreciated being able to just hit the go button. And the great part about it is you get almost, you get a coach. So Leslie was there just like right by our side, coaching us along the way, so you don't feel like you're just isolated in your group. So from that perspective, really wonderful. I think some of the more tangibles was really looking at the frameworks that you get, right? You go to school. I've been in many academic programs, and I think what I learned is like there's academic frameworks, but then there's also consulting frameworks. And there's a number of them, from, thinking about how you define a problem, how you assess that problem, and then how to even think about the return on investment, or how to generate profits for an organization or company. I won't give you everything because I want to make sure you join this class. I can't teach it in 10 minutes or do as good a job as Dr. Ng, but I just want to give you a sense of what that was like. And so you get these frameworks. You also get access to the experts that Leslie talked about, and then you're building this network. So I've been able to even reach out to Dr. Ng after the program, because I'm starting to think about women supporting women, this group that I formed with other colleagues in the program. And Dr. Ng has been at the ready to say, yes, I'll talk to your team and I'll give some advisement or insights as to what you all are envisioning for the work that you want to plan ahead. So I've just really gained a lot, been able to connect with Rachel as well. And Leslie, I'm like, I know we're going to connect. We have to connect. There's something brewing out there for us to do as well. But I think in terms of just how this is really translated into my daily life, I've been able to, actually utilize some of the frameworks and really think about sort of my value in a different way, even within the organization that I'm working for. And so now I get to lead equity teams, and, I've been able to kind of market myself a little bit differently as a consultant within a larger system of healthcare. Finally, I want to tell you the big successes that I've had, because that's been actually very surprising. You get into, I've been in certificate programs before, been in, again, academic institutions, and you don't always get that ROI, right? And so for me, it really is part of my own equity story, right? I grew up in a low-income community, and I was always taught, you go to school, get your education, and you get a job. you get a job, you go work for someone else. This is the first time that I really heard, like, you're getting this certificate, but you're also in this doctoral program. How do you monetize that? How do you take that to the next level and make it work for you? And so that has brought tremendous value. Recently, I would say as a direct result of this course, I saw an announcement in through a newsletter that I get from my local city council district. And the announcement said, this consulting group got a huge contract to manage a $4.2 million grant opportunity. And these were funds that were redirected from police services into more social services. And so I recognized the name of the consulting group, and I said, I know this person, and reached out to them. I didn't have their phone number, so I said, I'm going to send a quick message through Facebook. And they got back to me right away, because what I said to them was, hey, congratulations on getting this contract. I live in the district that you're going to be supporting. If you need any additional help, being on an advisory committee, or you want to subcontract any part of that work, let me know. The person got back to me right away and said, perfect timing, let's talk. Kind of now today you can do things so quickly, virtual coffee, right? You can have a virtual coffee. We talked so quickly, and I secured a subcontract of $150 an hour. So really, I've now made back the cost of this program 4.5 times over. And you know, you can't get that anywhere, right? You get in a program and you're able to make it with the 4.5 times as much in 2 weeks. So I only did 2 weeks of work, and I've already made this money back, right? That I've invested in the program. You know, also since then, there have been other opportunities for me to engage with community around my Mindful Beauty project. And, you know, again, the community said, hey, you know, we want to take this statewide and nationally. We want to do this work. And I said, that's great. They were like, we want to get sponsorship funding. And I said, that's wonderful. So they said, what do you think about it? And, you know, before I would say like, oh, I would let people pick my brain and, you know, kind of allow them to utilize my services in a very kind of free way, you know, just informally. And now I realize, you know, I can monetize that as well. And so I told them, yes, let's do it, but also think about how you can utilize my services as a consultant because I'm growing my company. And they, you know, took to it right away, and they thought it was a great idea. And so I really see the value. The last thing that I'll share is Blackcinated. I heard about, you know, this program that I have is like really catching on. People are excited about Blackcinated because it's getting African Americans specifically excited about getting the vaccine. But I realized I didn't have a trademark for it, right? And I got to hear from attorneys that said like, get it trademarked. And so now I'm in that process. So I could go on and on just about the value of this program, how I've benefited, but you really do have an expert team here. And the driving home point is like, get in while you can, because this program is really gonna continue just to grow. And I think it's at a phase right now where you have an opportunity to gain so much valuable expertise and experience from people who are successful and know what they're doing and will continue to support and nurture you. So thank you so much. And I appreciate your time and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Janae. What a powerful woman. What a powerful testimony.
Thank you so much, Janae.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I want to invite anyone who's joined us today to feel free to pepper us all with questions. And, you know, any specific questions for Janae, I want to be mindful of her time. Anyone on the call, feel free to hop off. I know the chat is going. Let's see. Oh, great. Right. Well, if you have questions, feel free to hop off the mic. I'm going to just proceed just a little bit further because I know everybody's probably wondering, what's the cost? Your investment here, normally it's almost $3,000. It's $2,995, but we do give a 10% discount for those Pepperdine students and alumni. So it brings it down to $2,695.50. However, maybe you're someone who does this program and you don't land a contract right away, but you loved the program. We have benefits for you as a graduate of the program. You can refer people to come into this program, and we can pay you for that. So every referral that actually enrolls, you can get a benefit. So think about that as you consider the cost. Keep in mind as well, this is a certificate program. So some of you, if you're a current student at Pepperdine and you want to use your Pepperdine loan funds or something like that, there are ways to do that, but not directly through Pepperdine. So if you have a loan refund, for example, from FAFSA, you can use that refund to buy books, to buy food, to pay rent, to buy consulting certificate programs. But what you would actually do is you would let me know what works for you as far as a payment plan goes. And with that, we would send you an invoice. Now, we prefer that invoices are paid in full, but we also know not everybody can plunk out that money all in one chunk. So if you need a payment plan, we can offer you that with different invoices on dates that work for you. All invoices do need to be paid before the completion of the program, so you can get your certificate. And with that, since we do invoicing through QuickBooks, you can pay with a credit card, which you can't do for your tuition. We do absorb all the fees as well. So if you're someone that needs, you know, a 2-payment plan, a 3-payment plan, normally there's fees for that. And we, as the Kairos Consulting Lab, will absorb those fees for you to help it make more sense for your pocketbook. If you have questions about that, please do reach out to me. You can call me, text me anytime. And I'm happy to arrange a time to chat with you about that. But again, I want to just open up for questions. I'm so grateful for our amazing alumna, Janae Oliver, sharing her experience. We do have Leslie, Ed, and myself here available to answer any questions you have. Also on this flyer, I just want to have you notice that we have testimonials from some of our first cohort members, Francesca Nesfield and Jason Kababic. Francesca was a doctoral student and Jason was straight out of undergrad. So we have people at all different levels. And I think, you know, no matter where you are and what you're looking for example, Jason really wanted to get into a consulting firm and he's been able to do that. Francesca, on the other hand, was similar to Janae. And I see Namsa, your hand's up. Come on out and ask a question. What can we answer for you, Namsa?
And it's maybe more of a comment than question, or it might be a little bit of a combination. So I was happy to hear the information shared because I think I'm in this place of transition. So in the comments section, I talked about my organization. I launched our consulting arm, and it's really a team of me unless I bring in others. And so I did create a small pool of consultants that may work with me on a project. What I've learned over time is that folks actually want to just work with me. And so I had initially was trying to figure out, is there some way internally with my organization, but it doesn't seem like that's going to work. So I launched my own LLC. I actually had got my first engagement at the beginning of this year. And so now I just want to figure out just like the building of the brand, the work, getting the word out and figuring, you know, how to do that without having a conflict with my job as I'm thinking about transitioning away. But I think this will help create the foundation to really take what I'm thinking about to the next level. And I think I've been thinking about two things, you know, having my own business, but then partnering with other folks so I can work with others on consulting projects so that, you know, another way to kind of expand the brand and reach.
Yeah, so let me just kind of comment on that real fast. So it's pretty classic case, right? You work for a company and you're either bored or you feel like, you know, your creative outlet is not being met and you want autonomy. You want to be able to control your own destiny versus collecting a paycheck, right? So most people have a risk tolerance. So what I always advise people is to do this. You're probably not ready to quit your job if you have to ask that question. So what you got to do is build up your clientele on the side until your revenue is about 50% of what you make now. That's when you can go full on and start your own company. And I say that because you're the tax expert and also the legal expert is going to help you with that. So essentially what I'm finding out is when you have your own company, you can write off everything. So by the time all your write-off is done, that's equivalent to about 40% of your revenue, the revenue that you bring in that you can shelter. So I use 50% as a pretty standard, it's a generic gauge of when I should make that move to go 100% or not. But you have your first client already, but you need to still build your brand. I don't know much about your LLC right now, but the first thing I would look at is, does your brand tell me anything? And number two, who else is in your space? And what I teach people to do is go on Upwork and find out how much people are charging. And number two, find out who your competition is, and then find a space that no one else is in. And if you heard of the Blue Ocean strategy, if you can apply that, use it. If not, then we'll teach you how to build your brand so you're in a space with very little competition. Or if you have a lot of competition in your space, how do you do things better? So that's what we're going to teach you in the class. Hope that helps.
And I also want to add to that, you know, if you do have an LLC, this program itself could be a write-off. We've also had firms look at us that are nonprofit firms that do work in different areas, and they're able to get differentiated grant money if they have this consulting distinction. I know many people are like, you know, Janae, you've got several accolades, undergrad, maybe a couple of master's degrees, maybe you're working on your second doctorate, but this consulting certificate distincts you as a consultant. It gives you a different edge. It helps add that additional credibility. And it, again, it takes all that you've already learned and gives you that foundation to build on it so that you can learn how to make money and do it the right way, stay within the legal guidelines, and have mentors and experts that can help you along. Now, I can tell you, Namsa, I mean, I work for Pepperdine, and every year I have to fill out a no conflict of interest form. I have several corporate clients. I do this work here with Kairos Consulting and GSEP. I also teach in a program at the Grazie Business School. So, you know, I think I definitely understand that fine line that you need to walk. And I think, you know, we're in a new day and age where people are juggling many different hats. And this is going to help you learn how to focus and narrow in and again, monetize. I think that's what it all comes back down to. Great
No,
question.
Last thing to add. Oh, sorry, go right ahead.
No,
Namsa.
go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I wanted to cover one of the things that you said that stuck out to me was, you know, trying to better understand how you're going to position yourself. You used the word brand myself. And I think that, you know, one of the biggest takeaways from this program is really designing, having the time to take and learn from the curriculum, but designing and building on your actual consulting business plan. I think, you know, one of the comments that I put on the sidebar was finding your niche. You know, that is one of the things that Ed will constantly challenge you on during the curriculum, because he wants to make sure that you're not just graduating with the certificate, but that you have the ability to actually make money based off of your areas of expertise. And that in alignment with, you know, your consultative sales that Rachel teaches, as well as your personal branding. How are you going to brand yourself moving forward? And what does that business plan for your consulting firm look like for yourself as a consultant? It's just so different in this certificate program as opposed to learning it in any other class that I've taken on my own or at Grazie Business School, where, you know, we go over theory and application of consulting, but to have it here real time with, you know, a faculty that is challenging you, asking you some very difficult questions for you to think about, come back, do homework on those things so that you can really understand, where do I really want to take this consulting and how serious am I about it? And, you know, when I take a look at my entire experience holistically, what are some of the things that I'm passionate about? Do I want to do this because I'm passionate, or do I want to do this because I really want to make money, right? And can I find a balance between the two? And so, you know, I wanted to comment on that because I think one of the biggest takeaways from this program is that at the end of every session, you are going to think to yourself, do I have the right plan? And you're going to start to ask yourself some questions, you know, during some of the sessions. And I think that that is one of the biggest takeaways from you really trying to understand how you're going to brand yourself and how you're going to walk away from this program making money as quickly as you possibly can.
Thank you. All of your responses were spot on. And Rachel, I had already looked at writing this off as part of so that was already like whatever I was going to do, being able to tie it to that. And really, it's really the practical experience. Since I've been doing it technically for my job last almost 8 years, done all the scoping, all the pricing, all the working individually with the clients. And I think the niche is, some of it is because of the world I'm in and of sexual health. And so there's not like tons of consultants helping organizations with either expanding their strategic planning, those things. So that's actually helped me with the work we've been doing. And then the client that I had here was really a Los Angeles based client. It was because I'm a native in the area of where they're serving. And they appreciated how I engaged with their community and their folks. So it's like continuing to build that out is really what I'm hoping to get out of this. So thank you.
Great.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Awesome. Dr. Jai, yes.
So I know there's like a group of us that really want to join, do this consulting certificate. And you guys mentioned the 10% discount, but is there like a group discount if there's like 5 of us that, join the program, or?
So basically, we need a minimum of 5 to run the program. So if we have 4 sign up, unfortunately, we're going to say, hey guys, we're going to do this in October. Now, we've yet to have that problem. We've always had really strong, robust cohorts. It just depends on, how many people we have coming in. I know in the past we have considered things like, a married couple wanting to join the program, trying to incentivize that for 2. We've had, like I mentioned, a firm look at us and, looked at doing something special for them with a discount. But again, we would need a minimum of 5 to host the cohort. So just keep that in mind. And I'm also getting a note that if, thank you, Dr. Ng. So if we have 5 more in a group, we may be able to offer another 5% discount. But again, we are giving that discount to Pepperdine. So I'd love to chat with you. I'm going to make sure everybody sees at the bottom there my cell phone number. Please shoot me a text, 310-721-0095. We can arrange a time to chat and see what we can work out. We want to make this work for you. We're trying to go over and beyond as much as we possibly can. But we do pay Pepperdine too, so keep that in mind. We want to make it as doable for everyone. Great. I do highly recommend, as Nomsa's mentioning, she's going to connect with Janae. I think that's another great thing about this program. It tends to attract people that get it. I mean, I know Janae really connected with one of our colleagues in the program last term, Erica Barnes Ford, who's over in Atlanta, and doing amazing work in the Southeast. And we've had a president of a college enroll in this program in one of our first cohorts. Again, and somebody who was fresh out of undergrad. I'm seeing the chat go, okay, thanks, wonderful. All right, any other questions that we can answer for you?
I have one more question, along with like just the alumni. Is there do you guys have like a database or a Facebook or something, like a group that where like the alumni or the current participants of the program can connect?
Yeah, so once the program starts, I usually ask everyone for their permission to share their information. Some people aren't as open to it as others, believe it or not. So we have in the past had some people say, hey, I don't want to share my phone, or I don't want to. But in some cohorts, people have been 100% open to it. And I've started a WhatsApp group so that people can kind of chat with each other. When we start to advertise the program, I tend to try to tag anyone on LinkedIn. Not every person that enrolls in this program does LinkedIn. So we do try to do it within mindfulness of protecting people's preferences. I hope that makes sense.
That does make sense. Sorry, Gianni just let me know her internet went down, but
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, highly encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn. My full name, Rachel Staples Guettler. So find me on LinkedIn if you're not already connected with me already. Dr. Ed Ng, Leslie Young as well. Find us, email us, contact us, text us. We'd love to chat with you one-on-one about the program and answer any questions you have. And again, try to make it as possible for you this spring as we can.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Does anybody else have any other questions? Anything? I don't see anything in the chat so far. But yes, please get in touch with Rachel, with Leslie. She's just putting her contact information in the chat, and also with Dr. Ed Ng if you want to reach out. And with that said, so are we done, or is there anything else?
Well, Leslie mentioned something that I think is poignant, and I wanted to just say, Leslie was in our second cohort, and she was so strong that we brought her in as faculty. And I know that Ed is looking to expand. So, think of this as, and it's something I say in my consultative sales presentation, work begets work. Show up and do your great work. As you know, as we always say with education programs, you get out of it what you put into it. But keep in mind that, we are looking to expand our team, and we have other colleges that are interested in us. We love Pepperdine. We are Pepperdine. We are Waves ourselves. But we also want to, have a team that helps us take this around the globe. We have high interest in China. I can let Ed, expand on that if he wishes. But, this is something that is the beginning of a great wave of Pepperdine consultants.
Great, that's awesome. Any other last words? Anybody else have any other questions? And if not, then I believe I can go ahead and help us to end the info session today. So everybody, thank you so much for being here today and for listening into our info session. If you have any questions, please reach out to Rachel, to Leslie, to Dr. Ed Eng. Their information is in the flyer. We've been sending out the flyer with the information. If you did not get this flyer that you see on your screen, let me know. You can email me. In fact, my email address, let me go ahead and put it in the chat here. And you probably, if you are a part of our alums, if you're students in the program, you probably see emails coming out from me from our center. So you can send me an email. I put it in the chat box, and I will go ahead and forward that information over to them as well. Thank you all so much for being here today. And on behalf of the center, we wish you a very lovely weekend. Have a good one, everybody.